The Kaduna State Governor, Nasir El-Rufai, has enrolled his 6-year-old son into a public primary school. What if the remaining 35 governors do the same? What if the senators, the commissioners, and the top government officials in our country, Nigeria, do the same? Hello friends, this is your lady Phyllis. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about our public primary schools. Our parents told us the stories of how they went to primary schools. In those days, there were few primary schools and they traveled many kilometers away from their homes to attend primary schools. But luckily for us, in our days, we met many primary schools close to us and we attended the ones that are very close to us. But in the 90s, we started seeing the proliferation of many private primary schools, and they stayed side by side with the public primary schools. But when we got to the year 2000 and so on, the private primary schools collected the flag from the public primary schools, and the private primary schools are now at the peak of the game, while the public primary schools are nearly out of the system. Why? We observed that in those days, the teachers' salaries were not paid as at when due or regularly. The government used to owe them 2 months, 4 months of salaries, and then when they pay 1 month, 2 months, and so on. And because of this, there were strike actions, uncountable strike actions, and work to rule. Work to rule is the system of workers going to work, and when they get to work, they don't do any work. That is the one we call work to rule. So the teachers engaged themselves in strike action and work to rule. Also, there was the problem of not having enough teachers in the public primary schools. One teacher will be teaching more than 2 streams. He or she will be teaching primary 1 and primary 2, or primary 4 and 5 and 6, and so on. We also found out that the teachers were going to school late. The school is supposed to start at 8 o'clock, but you see some teachers walking sluggishly to school at 10 o'clock. And when they get to school, before dismissal time, which is always 1:50 p.m., you see them going back. When they get to school, they teach maybe 1 subject and they are done for the day. They send the students, the pupils, away to recreation, and the pupils will play away their lives during recreation. They can play for hours during recreation. And also we saw the dilapidating school buildings. Most schools dilapidated. Nobody was taking care of them. The pupils, sometimes you see them studying under the trees. There were not enough learning materials. The teachers don't have books to teach with. They don't have, some don't even have school registers. So some don't have module and textbooks. No blackboard, no chalk, and so on. Tables and seats, even lockers, no way. So these are most of the problems we saw in the public primary schools. And also some of the teachers, since their salaries weren't paid, they now started looking for another means of living. Some started business. When you now go to their school, you see them displaying their articles on their tables. While some other ones, you will see them peeling egusi. They will buy egusi, that is melon, and give to the students. The pupils will be peeling egusi for their teachers in their classroom. The result was that Many parents withdrew their children or wards from the public primary schools and enrolled them into the private primary schools. Private primary schools now began to boom. Even as I'm talking to you now, they are holding the flag. They are booming very well. Today, I read an article that the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, enrolled his 6-year-old son into a public primary school. This news really touched my heart. Unlike his counterparts, who have already sent their children to America, London, US, Canada to study, this governor enrolled his child to public primary school. We need to think about this. How many of us can do this? This is what I call leading by examples. Our public primary schools are in a mess. They need to be reformed and reactivated. They need to come back and combat with the private primary schools. The way things are now, if quick actions are not taken, our public primary schools may be extinguished or phased out. Government, you need to take quick damage control actions to rescue our public primary schools. Firstly, you need to build more primary schools. You need to equip the primary schools with modern learning facilities like computers, laboratory, learning materials, whiteboard, tables, chairs, and so on. You need to upgrade them. iPhone 11 Pro don't hit the market. Most of you have upgraded. Likewise, our public primary schools need some upgrade. Upgrade them. If our public primary schools are good, you would have sent your children to them. But because it's a mess, you now enjoy sending your wards and children away from the country to study. Please, we need you to employ more teachers and pay their salaries regularly so that they will be committed to doing their jobs. This time around, we are not only calling for you to bring back our girls, but we are also calling for you to bring back our public primary schools. We need it. Bring back our public primary schools, please. Thank you.